Otherwise, stay right here for real issues, real facts, with real people.
His name is Joe.
Instead of fighting with these people, what I do is I throw stats at them. Let them go with it.
The Adventures of Joe.
But I've actually even got to the point now when somebody starts arguing with me, prove your facts. I go, now.
All right, what do you say, Joe? What do you say to that?
You didn't prove yours. Mine you can find at the CDC or on the FBI website. You need to do your own homework. Because when you spoon feed them, even when you do that, they tell you you're wrong, even though they have nothing to back it up with. Just like AOC, nothing.
It hadn't been forgotten,
I'm going to deal with topics and issues that will make you think. The lines are open. You can reach me at 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563.
It's the Joe Messina Show.
Welcome back to another session of Insanity right here on the Joe Messina Show. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Like I say, get involved, get engaged, be part of the solution. It's how you win, how we win, how we make a change, you could say. I should say. Not good. Anyway. Evan Sayet is going to join us after the break. Love Evan. I mean, like a brother, seriously. I love what he stands for. I love how he fights. I love how he's not an ideologue. Now, I don't care whether it's the Republicans or whatever group he's with. He'll let them know. He'll let them know when he likes or doesn't like something. Right? Okay. 855-REAL-JOE. 855-732. Stop sending me stuff during the breaks that have food in them, okay? Enough. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Get involved, get engaged. As I said before, be part of the solution. It is truly how we win. It's truly how we make things happen. And, seriously, it doesn't hurt. You don't have to shove it down their throats. We've had this discussion 1,000,007 times. You don't have to shove it down their throats. But let them know that you can't be bowled over, that you know what's going on, that you have a clue. Right? 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Or you can send me an email, joe@joemessina.com. That's always the best. I won't make fun of you. I won't read your name. I won't do any of that. Unless you're really nasty with me. Then it's a whole different story, okay? Supreme Court has agreed to hear and overturn probably a law in Hawaii that has strict gun bans on private property about you not being able to own a gun in your own home. Does anybody really believe that our founding fathers had that in mind? Anyhow, the Supreme Court notified us on Friday that it'll take up its latest gun rights case, considered striking down a strict regulation on where people can carry firearms in Hawaii. But Hawaii has said in the past that it will ignore any of these laws, anything that they come up with. The Supreme Court. President Donald Trump's Republican administration has urged the justices to take up the case, arguing that the law violates the court's landmark 2022 ruling that found the Second Amendment generally gives people a right to carry firearms. The court will consider Hawaii's law that bans guns on private property, including businesses like stores and hotels, unless the owner has specifically allowed them verbally or with a sign. Because most property owners do not post signs either allowing or not for allowing guns, Hawaii's default rule functions as a near complete ban on public carry. That simple. Now, the case isn't aimed at Hawaii's restriction of guns, like beaches and parks and restaurants that serve alcohol. If the challenger wins, businesses would still be able to take steps to restrict guns on their property, right? But they have to post no guns allowed. Now, businesses have a right to do that now. They have a right to say that guns aren't allowed. So they want it brought back to that standard. Hawaii argues that it has already loosened its concealed carry permit regulations to align with the court's rulings of 2022. They say the new law strikes a reasonable balance between gun rights and, public safety. Now, a judge blocked the law after it was challenged in court by a gun rights group and 3 people from Maui. But the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals largely reversed that decision. And they allowed, the Ninth Circuit Court, you hear it? And they allowed Hawaii to enforce the law. The gun safety group, every town urged the Supreme Court to uphold. Now, the Ninth Circuit Court was absolutely right to say it's constitutional to prohibit guns on private property unless the owner says they want guns there. Right? That's simple. 4 other states have laws banning guns in areas often referred to as sensitive locations. Anyhow, the Supreme Court previously declined a push from gun rights groups to fully strike down the New York law. Look, people actually had brain cells that they used in the days of our founding fathers. It seems and it was with the understanding that the citizens, our people, understood they had brain cells that worked. No, really, seriously. They had brain cells that worked. And they figured that, people knew right from wrong. That they wouldn't, you'd have one here and there, but for the most part, you wouldn't. Right? Yes, okay, that's a good one. Other gun owners scored a victory. The U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas, they ruled that prohibitions on carrying firearms in post offices are unconstitutional. Right? The Chief U.S. District Judge, Reed O'Connor, delivered the opinion in the Firearms Policy Coalition versus Bondi on Tuesday of the week. The case was brought by the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Second Amendment Foundation, and 2 citizens. O'Connor found that the law is unconstitutional under the Second Amendment with respect to plaintiffs and their members possessing and carrying firearms inside of an ordinary United States post office or a surrounding post office property. I'll be back in a minute. Don't go far.
Omaha Steaks is rewriting the book on burgers with an all-new handmade texture for the juiciest home-style burgers you've ever tasted. Their pure ground burgers are made from single cuts of real aged Omaha steaks. These are truly steaks on a bun. Filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get an extra $20 off your order, plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger, so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for a juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, use promo code TREAT at checkout, and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. Minimum order may be required.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you, and in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now. 800-778-8214. 800-778-8214. That's 800-778-8214. Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-504-1123. 800-504-1123. 800-504-1123. That's 800-504-1123.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
Attention timeshare owners. Tired of the financial stress? Were you misled by the salesperson? Don't or can't use your timeshare anymore? If any of these apply to you, then you may qualify for timeshare cancellation and get the relief you need now. Timeshare Defense Attorneys is the #1 affordable fixed fee legal solution in the country with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. That's certainly better than my grades. They even offer a 100% client satisfaction guarantee. Let one of their experienced lawyers evaluate your case and explain the process. If they take you as a client, they'll work on your case until it's resolved in your favor, guaranteed. Expect great service and a close working relationship with your lawyer, keeping you informed every step of the way, protecting your rights, interests, and even your credit. It's that simple. Even a kid like me could understand it. The consultation is free. Call today.
800-875-1853. 800-875-1853. That's 800-875-1853.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
You know this man. Go ahead. Make my day.
We are back. Joe Bacino, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5556. Hey, get involved, get engaged. You know, I want you to be involved. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to enjoy yourself, if you would. And I do appreciate the time. What the heck? I do appreciate the time that you're spending with us here on the air and in the and in the chat room. But let me just bring him on because, you know, I got to tell you something. I love this guy. I really do. I've known him for a long time, and I mean a long time. I had black hair when we met, and he was very helpful in my career. He was very helpful with me and introduced me around. I met him, God, the days when Andrew Breitbart was still alive. And, you know, there's a titan that we miss. We're back at it again. Yeah, you know what? He waits too long to come on. I'm going to get him an apartment right next to my studio so I can get him on way more often. You know, Evan Sayet joins me as he does from time to time, long time to time, and guy, longtime friend. God bless Evan. Thank you for being on with me.
Oh, it's always my pleasure, Joe.
All right. So we haven't talked since the Charlie Kirk incident, and, you know, as a Christian, I got to tell you, the memorial afterward, all those politicians, and if they were speaking truth, they did a better job than most pastors did that weekend, or any weekend, really, seriously. And the call for peace, the call for a more moral way of doing things was astonishing to me. What say you?
Well, as a Jew, I agree with everything you just said.
Wait, you're Jewish? I didn't know you were Jewish.
Yeah. That's why I hide from you most of the time and only call in from time to time.
I love you, brother.
From a top secret location. But just as an American, how can you not love? Obviously, not the reason for, but the peace. And the community. And what's so striking, of course, is 200 and something thousand people either in that arena, in the adjoining arena, or in proximity in the area, and not a single crime, nothing but love, nothing, because that's who we are. And look, I've long believed we needed a religious revival in this nation, because otherwise we had nothing. Wokeism is the church of nothing.
Yep.
It is a church of no God, no country, no beauty, nothing. And so I long believed our only hope was a religious revival, and quite frankly, a Christian revival is the only thing one has a hope for in this nation. There aren't enough Jews. And it doesn't matter to me, because I think Christianity is an absolutely wonderful, peaceful religion. So I'm glad to see this revival, and it was very telling in how much love and how much peace. And you and I have had this discussion just briefly on the phone in the recent past. But now that there has been this Christian revival, we have to be careful, because when Christ comes to the fore, so too does the devil, and there is a devilish alternative hiding behind. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, pretending to be Christian, and they are in fact the very opposite of Christian, and that's the Christian nationalist movement.
Yep.
Charlie, and Charlie's asked point blank. I mean, this is on the record, and more than once. Charlie was asked, "Are you a Christian nationalist?" And he said, "I'm a Christian and I'm a nationalist, but I'm not a Christian nationalist."
And get into that a little deeper, because I've said that to people too. In that light, is that there's a big difference between the two.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The big difference is that Christian nationalism is a supremacist movement. Anytime you put a modifier before the word nationalist, it instantly is no longer a nation, but a supremacist movement. So a white nationalist is not a nationalist. A nationalist is somebody who believes that all rights and protections of a nation belong equally to all citizens of that nation. That's what a nationalist is. A something nationalist, a white nationalist, a black nationalist, a Christian nationalist believes that all rights and protections belong only to the people who are in that modifier. So white nationalists believe all rights and protections belong only to white people. Black nationalists believe all rights and protections belong only to black people. Christian nationalists believe all rights and protections belong only to Christian people. Charlie didn't believe this, and by the way, neither did Christ. All right? Mm-hmm. Charlie's Christianity was promoted not through government fiat. He didn't want to take over the government and then compel everyone to be a Christian. Instead, both Jesus and Charlie sought to win hearts and minds, to win souls through ministry, example, and invitation. Right. They understood that compelling somebody by government rule to be a Christian doesn't make them a Christian. Well, it doesn't bring them to the church. What it does is it brings them to heel. And not only does it not bring them to the church, it makes them resent the church, because not only are they now being oppressed, but they recognize that Christianity is not what Christ, what others portrayed Christ to be. All right? If you're going to oppress me, if you're going to force me by the sword, by the government, power, to be a Christian, then you are not Christ-like.
Nope.
And so these Christian nationalists are not nationalists. So when they wave the American flag, they want a new covenant. They want a new covenant with America to replace the Constitution. That's our covenant, is the Constitution, where everybody has equal rights if you're a citizen. They want to replace that with a new covenant where you only have rights and protections if you're a Christian.
Yeah.
And they want a new biblical covenant as well. It's called replacement theology, where they pretend that the old covenant covenant was a Jewish.
Take a break on that for a second, because we got to go to a break.
Okay.
But number two is that I want people to know I totally agree with Evan, and I'm a Christian. I don't want to force my belief system down anybody's throat. I want them to look at my lifestyle. I want them to look at the things that I'm doing and say, hey, I don't know what he's got, but I want what he has. I want to know the person that he knows that's got him in that kind of mindset of loving and caring about other people. All right, Joe Massini, your host. Evan and I will be back with you in just a minute. I said, actually, I'll be back with you now. How do you like that? No, seriously, I do. Have you ever heard so much Christ talk from a Jew before? Really? I mean, Evan is very respectful of what we believe and why we believe what we believe. And that's, I love the guy for that. He doesn't, look, we don't win people over by being nasty and mean, making fun of what they believe. We win them over by understanding them and working with them and loving on them. Joe Massini, your host. I'll go far. A lot more with Evan when we return.
Attention homeowners. It's not if something's going to break, it's when. That's home ownership. If your dryer, your refrigerator, or your AC and heating breaks, that's an expensive call. And who do you call? Make it easy on yourself and call Choice Home Warranty. We've already done the research and have access to 25,000 technicians that can be at your home quickly. We've covered close to 2 million homes in the United States. There's a good chance your neighbors work with us. Call us right now before the next breakdown. We'll tell you everything that's covered in your home and give you the first month free with our ironclad 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and learn how to get your free month.
800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. That's 800-378-2250.
Limitations and exclusions apply. First month free with purchase of single plan. Visit choicehomewarranty.com for more details.
Life is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. But here's one thing you can control: making sure your loved ones are protected if the unexpected happens. At easyplans.com, we make getting life insurance, well, easy. In just a few minutes, you can apply online and buy direct. No awkward phone calls, no confusing jargon, and no agent will contact you unless you request help. Just clear, affordable coverage, designed to fit your life and your budget. Fast approval, flexible plans, and unlike other online insurance sites, Easy Plans won't sell your information to others. So no endless phone calls and text messages. Whether you're just starting a family, buying a home, or thinking ahead, EasyPlans.com has you covered. EasyPlans.com. We make buying life insurance, well, easy.
America's News Update, I'm John Schaefer. The Senate has rejected both Democratic and Republican funding bills aimed at ending the government shutdown, which will now last at least 6 days. The GOP measure had already passed in the House. President Trump has warned of federal layoffs and says he may use the shutdown to decide which Democratic agencies to close. Hamas has agreed to release all Israeli hostages, both alive and dead, as part of President Trump's peace plan with Israel. The move is intended to kickstart negotiations on the broader plan. So far, there's been no official response from the U.S. or Israel. Earlier, Trump set a Sunday 6 p.m. Eastern deadline for Hamas to accept the proposal. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the U.S. military killed 4 narco-terrorists on a boat off Venezuela this morning. The strike targeted a vessel linked to a designated terrorist group. This follows President Trump's declaration of war on drug cartels.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
You know, you two girls have everything. You're tall and short and slim and stout and blonde and brunette. And that's just the kind of a girl I crave.
Hey, we're back at it again, and I don't want to waste any time. Let me bring it back on. Evan Sayet with me. And Evan, I want to talk about your books, but I want to wait to the last segment because, you know, people space out, they forget and all that, you know. I always say that people are a victim of their last conversation. So, anyway, yeah. Let's go ahead again and look at this. And I got to tell you, man, when I look at what's going on, you were just talking about Christian nationalism, and I backed you up by saying, I don't want to replace the Constitution with one of the books of the Bible. I don't want to replace the Constitution with the 10 Commandments. I don't want to shove any kind of religious belief down anybody's throat, right? But the Judeo-Christian, Judeo-Christian foundation, though, is what we're built on, and why we've lived the way we've lived, why we've had the peace we've had, the prosperity we have, I believe.
Oh, indeed. And so the question is, how do you get people back to the founding values, which, by the way, were not forced on everybody. You were not forced to be a Christian in America. And yet we all bought into the Judeo-Christian values, not because we were forced to at the end of a musket, but because we were led by people who were able to minister, make the point, who were able to show by example, and who were able to invite people in to join them in their cause. I mean, that's exactly what Charlie did the day he was killed, right? He ministered. He did so by example, by being peaceable and by being respectful, and he invited them to join us. All right, the other side does not do any of those things. All right, they don't minister, they dictate. They don't lead by example because that's not Christ's example. Christ's example, he specifically was against a government, a Christian government. He wanted a government led by good Christians, perhaps, people with Christian values. But how do you get them to have Christian values? All right, you get them to have Christian values through ministry, example, and invitation. That's my phrase. Ministry, example, and invitation, not the sword. And by the way, when you speak of Judeo-Christian values, not only are the Christian nationalists not Christian, but they hate Jews. Mm-hmm. Right? So they do not believe in Judeo-Christianity. They believe that the New Testament replaced, not continued, not fulfilled, replaced the Old Testament. Yep. And that the covenant God made with Abraham was suddenly null and void. And whenever it says Israel in the New Testament, it really secretly means non-Jews.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like everything else, there's always that group that wants to twist things to make it say what they want it to say, or make it say what they believe it should. or might say. So,
well, what else would the devil do but wrap himself in the flag, wrap himself in the gospel, and then use force to show how he's really the patriot and he's really the Christian, when in reality he's really the devil.
And he puts, from time to time, he puts on a Nancy Pelosi or a Chuck Schumer suit, too, so you got to be careful.
I think they're more idiots. So they're not Christians, nor are they nationalists, by the way, because wokeism is another globalist supremacist movement. All rights and protections belong only to those who are woke.
Don't you find it interesting that guys who probably don't even have a Bible in their house, like Don Lemon and others, love to preach to Christians as to what Jesus would do? And I just sit there, I roll around laughing.
That makes me laugh, but what scares me is the people who can quote Scripture. There are a lot of replacement theologists out there who are taking advantage of this opportunity to spew hatred for the Jews, to claim possession over America, to justify taking over the government, and doing so through violence. And we have to just keep our eyes up because it's confusing. I'm a Christian and a nationalist, but not a Christian nationalist. It can be confusing which one's which. But you have to side with the ones who lead through ministry, example, and invitation, and not through dictate and arms.
And we got to get you to speaking at a few churches. What we got to get you doing, because a lot of pastors aren't preaching that, and they should be preaching the love and not the forcing people into situations. Hey, let's move on to what's going on over there in Israel with Hamas. What we heard today, I don't think Netanyahu's going to be happy with what the agreement is with Hamas. I don't believe that Hamas will live up to it, number one. What say you? Where do you see this going?
Well, frankly, it's less important to me that Netanyahu like it or not, or be happy with it, than whether it's good and it's right. I think Netanyahu does do the good and right things, but nonetheless, Hamas is an evil organization. Hamas has no negotiating power. What's telling to me, though, is it's really surprising that none of the pro-Palestinian Americans are putting any pressure on Hamas to take the deal. This is the only time in human history where people going through a genocide have to be begged to make peace. Right? Is that not insane? Is that not telling?
It's crazy. You're exactly right. It is nuts.
Well, it seems like a contradiction, but Ayn Rand had a really good rule of thumb. Ayn Rand said there are no contradictions. If you think you found a contradiction, you must question your supposition. So if you suppose that the Americans who claim to be pro-Palestinian really care about the Palestinians, then they're not encouraging them to make peace. Seems like a contradiction. But once you understand that your supposition is that the people who are pro-Palestinian really couldn't give a damn about the Palestinians, who only want the war to continue because they don't give a damn about the Palestinians, but it sure does hurt the Jews. Once you understand that they're not pro-Palestinian, they are anti-Israel, they are anti-Jew, suddenly all the contradictions disappear.
Okay, Evan, I know this is kind of off a little bit, but all these years, I'm watching because of the show at night. I play some of these clips where these young people on college campuses, everything that Hamas, that Hezbollah, that Iran does to women, everything that they do, it is funny how these young kids totally believe that that's Israel, that the Jews do that to women, the Jews oppress women. How in God's creation did that happen?
Well, because we have a media, including, we old folk, we tend to focus on CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times. But the kids on college campuses, they don't care about those outlets. They care about various podcasts, and the podcasts that are attracting all too many of them are these Christian nationalists who hate Jews and who spin the most insane conspiracy theories, and the kids don't know any better, because how would they know any better? And so they take the word of Nick Fuentes. They take the word of these Christian nationalists who simply want to destroy all other religions except Christianity, but first and foremost, the Jews, because one of the rules of politics in general is you always try to destroy those who are closest to you, because they're the most obvious replacement for you. You know, so in the political world, if you're running on in a primary, you don't target the front runner, you target the person closest to you. All right, and so if you want to create only Christianity, you've got to destroy Judeo-Christianity. If you want to sell replacement theology, then you've got to give them reason to hate the Jews, especially because if the Jews are so successful, then, you know, if the Jews live in peace, if the Jews treat their women well, if the Jews do all the right things, then there's no reason to hate them. In fact, there's reason to respect them. There might even be reason to emulate them.
Yep. No, totally agree with you. Look, we got to go for a quick break again. You know how commercials are. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go far. Evan Sayet will still be with me when we return. Yes, you will. He'll be with me, too. Joe Macedo, your host. Look, Evan moves pretty quick. He talks pretty fast. I thought I talked fast, but he's a little faster than I am. But I want you to think about what he says. Think about what's going on. This is why I keep telling you guys, engage with your nieces, your nephews, your sons, your daughters, your grandsons, your granddaughters. Let them know what you think, what you believe. Don't worry about them poop. Oh, Grandpa, you're just an old guy. You don't know any better. You know, we use electricity now. That's my joke, by the way. We use electricity now, you know. I say, great. I know we use electricity. We also can harness it better. We also have equipment so you can get more power for a longer period of time, less downtime. Yes, I understand all that. Basic moral values, though, never changed. Anyway. Be back within a few minutes. Don't go far.
Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go to use it, it's not very absorbent? That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels. Towels that work. The 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and enter promo code USA, or call 800-951-8175. That's MyPillow.com, promo code USA.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that trying to name your bike.
How about the Crusher? I guess it's not really crushing anything. The Silver Bolt? No. Oh, what about Pepper? Mysterious. Is it a pet or a condiment? Surprise! It's a motorcycle. No, that's stupid.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Do you have a story to tell? Bring your story to life with audiobooks. Great stories deserve great storytelling. Audiobook Network provides professional voice actors and full production services for every author's manuscript. From narration, production, and editing to distribution, promotion, and sales, Audiobook Network handles everything. If you have a print book, ebook, or even a manuscript, call Audiobook Network now and get our free audiobook guide. 800-734-1229, 800-734-1229.
I'd like to introduce you to our new sponsor, Get the Tea. Get the Tea carries all natural, non-GMO organic teas and supplements made in the USA. Get the Tea's ingredients are the purest available. My favorite is Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is a gentle daily cleanse containing 12 herbs that when combined really keep things moving. I drink it every day and my energy has never been better. I'm feeling great. Life Change Tea comes in 3 delicious flavors, natural, peppermint, and pomegranate. It's an easy and delicious way to keep your digestion on track. And for those on the go, try D365. D365 is Life Change Tea in a capsule. Drink the tea or take D365 capsules and keep your digestion running smoothly. Go to getthetea.com and enter discount code USA to get 10% off any size order. That's getthetea.com, discount code USA for 10% off your order.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 866-451-3328. 866-451-3328. That's 866-451-3328.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. That's 800-471-7065.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-362-9337. 800-362-9337. That's 800-362-9337.
Oh, Wednesday's at that very special age when a girl has only one thing on her mind.
Boys. Homicide.
I have to admit, that is one of my favorites. And I've got one like that. Joe was in your host. Thank you for being with me. Appreciate the time you're spending with me here on the air. And the chat room, texting, tweeting, being part of the conversation, which will help you become part of the solution. You know, my buddy's with us, and I don't want to waste his time. We are back at it again. My close buddy, Evan Sayet. Love it when he's on the show with me. I appreciate him so much. And Evan, before we get mouthing off at 100 miles an hour, why don't you tell people about your books, where they can get them, where they get more information about Evan Sayet?
Well, my first book is The Kindergarten of Eden, How the Modern Liberal Thinks, and that's based on the lecture that that everybody used to know back in the day. It was legendary in that it's the unified theory of liberalism. If you want to know why good, smart, decent, loving, caring, generous people, Democrats, ignore all fact and reason and side only and always with evil over good, wrong over right, ugly over beautiful, profane over profound, that's the book that explains it. The Kindergarten of Eden, How the Modern Liberal Thinks. And I'll just push one more of my books, which is The Woke Supremacy. I'm talking about how Christian nationalism is a supremacist movement. Well, so is wokeism, because Christian nationalism says all rights and protections belong not to citizens of the nation, but only to the superior group, the Christians. Wokeism says all rights and privileges belong only to this superior group, the woke. All others are not only to be disempowered, but forever silenced and wholly erased from history. So that's the woke supremacy, and it's not a coincidence that the woke hate America, so too do Christian nationalists. That the woke hate Christianity, so too do the Christian nationalists. The woke hate the Jews, so too does Christian nationalists. So there's a lot to be learned about supremacist movements just by getting The Woke Supremacist.
Yeah, and pick up the other books he's written, too. I mean, if you really want some common sense stuff, instead of all this craziness that's going on, you really should pick up his books and check them out at Amazon.com. And, you really had to say, like us old-timers, huh? I feel much better now.
It's true. Well, I don't feel so good about it either, Joe. I don't feel so good about it either. The good news is, most of the time, I forget that I don't feel good about it.
So, where was he? Another little turn here. A few weeks ago, do you remember when Tim Kaine on the floor of the Senate actually said that it is scary that people believe that our rights come from God, okay? And by believing that, we're no different than the Iranians. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I didn't know Tim Kaine was still in office.
So he's talking about how we don't get our rights from God. We get it from government.
Right, and that is a fundamental belief of all supremacist movements, is that they are the government. They know better. They know, they know that they're woke and you might not be. So your rights come from me. In the Christian nationalist movement, it's I'm Christian, you're not. But here's the problem. Ultimately, let's say the Christian nationalists succeed in wiping out all of the Muslims, wiping out all of the Jews, wiping out all of the Hindus, wiping out all of the Buddhists. Now there's nothing other but Christians. Which Christians? Because Christians don't agree with Christians. How are you going to rule when the Protestants hate the Catholics and don't even think you're Christian? Because you don't pray to Jesus, you pray to Mary. And then how do you got to take off the Baptists from, and then you got to eliminate, oh my God, everybody hates the Latter-day Saints. So even if you succeed in wiping out everybody who isn't Christian, you still aren't going to have the peace and utopia that the Christian nationalists promise.
Yeah, it's amazing. The people we should be fighting, we're not. The arguments that we're making, we shouldn't be making. We still haven't learned. Okay, let's talk about my favorite guy. Who doesn't seem to get out of his... Yes, after you.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be able to get out of his own way. I appreciate him fighting. I appreciate the things he wants to do. But President Trump, and you had the honor at one point in time of writing one of his speeches for maybe many, I don't know, but writing speeches.
I wrote 5 speeches for him. Yeah. And by the way, I would have written more. Here's why I write speeches for him as opposed to somebody in the speech writing department. Whenever he needs humor, not just for him because he's funny on his own, but there are a couple of gigs every year, every 4 years, like the Al Smith dinner, which are or the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where poking fun at each other and is actually the assignment. So I wrote all 3 of his Al Smith dinner speeches. I wrote a couple of things called the Gridiron Speech Dinner. Had he ever done, instead of boycotting the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I would have written all of those. So whenever he needs a speech that is politically right, correct, not politically correct, but correct politically, but also humorous, that's when they turn to me. Yeah, all right, so we were talking about Trump getting in his own way. I don't know that he gets in his own way or not. Here's the problem. We typically in America have checks and balances. We have an opposition party that keeps us in check, at least, some. But the Democrat Party is so empty. There's nothing there. They have no power. They have no money. They have no leader. They have no issues. They have nothing. That there's no checks and balances on our side, which means that we have to check ourselves. And I do see this president and this administration, because they can, and partly because they were so abused by the political left. The institution so abused anybody who was right of center that in some ways and sometimes maybe we have to check ourselves and pull ourselves back a little bit. I'm not sure, and I'm not against troops in cities. But we have to think about whether that's really constitutional, whether that's really right, whether that's really necessary, to what degree. Questions that maybe in the end will ultimately say he's doing the right thing. But I don't think we're even asking ourselves these questions. All right, I saw something today. I have no idea if it's true or not. I saw it in a reputable outlet, but I've not seen it anywhere else yet, that says that they're coming out, the U.S. Mint, all right, not a private company to make money. The U.S. Mint is going to mint a dollar coin to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, and it's going to have Trump's face on the front. No, he's not Caesar. That's not what we're celebrating. He is not the 250 years of America, and it's really a bad thing. For if that's what he intends to do. I get it. We have the power to do it. There's no checks and balance. I get it, but it's not right. And that's at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, we have to just be able to at least question ourselves, because the other side has so invalidated itself that we are now unchecked.
Yeah, I think, well, right. We've been tied up for so long. I think what happens is we finally got our quote unquote freedom, and we're running around like, I'm going to say it, we run around like fools sometimes. And I think the youth of some of the people that he's hired, that he has around him, also drives some of that, somewhat unchecked because they think they've got the power. That's kind of my personal feeling.
I think we also have a sense that we only have 4 years to make up for so much of the damage that they've done. For example, we only have 4 years to take care of the illegal aliens who flooded our country because Biden opened the borders. And so we're not even asking ourselves the real hard constitutional questions about whether U.S. troops can be used in this fashion, because we have to do it now, because if we lose the White House, or even less than that, just 2 years from now, not even 2 years, 1 year from now, if we lose the House of Representatives, suddenly we're hampered. Suddenly there's going to be all these impeachments that are going to slow him down. He won't be convicted. So there's this sense of urgency. There's this sense of grievance. There's this sense of righteousness. All of them correct. But all of those things cannot go unchecked. So we have to check ourselves.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think you're right on with it. And I think that, again, to your point, there is a bit of, wanting to get it done. Hakeem Jeffries came out in a speech that he gave and said, look, point blank, we'll get power back. And when we do, they're going to be sorry, because we're going to turn around everything that Trump did. Not say we're going to look at everything Trump did and we're going to do what's right for the country. No, they can't do that. They don't have it in them. Look, we're running out of time. You got about 40 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. It is terrible, and that's a big deal, that the other side not only isn't giving an inch, but is doubling down.
Yeah.
And so they are, in a two-party system, forcing everybody to come to our side, because they don't buy that shit. They don't buy that men should be in girls' sports. They don't buy that men can have babies. They don't buy that the cops should be defunded. And so if that's what's in the offing, then even reasonable people, even reasonable Democrats, have to come to our side, and that only leaves them with even less power to check us. Really, that's disconcerting that they aren't moving to the reasonable positions, but only doubling down. That's pretty scary, too.
All right. Well, listen, Evan Sayet. It's evansayet.com. Evan Sayet, SAYET.com. You can check him out there. I'm going to poke him and prod him to come on a little bit more often. Evan, God bless. You know what? Be healthy and have a great rest of the week.
Okay, Joe. I love you.
Love you too, brother. Joe was your host. Don't go far. A lot more coming up after the break.
News Update, I'm John Schaefer. The Senate has rejected both Democratic and Republican funding bills aimed at ending the government shutdown.